Welcome to Chair Yoga for Fall Prevention. It's about an hour class, give or take 3 minutes on either side. There's 5 things that we do in a Veterans Yoga project. We do breathing, mindful movement, meditation, guided rest and relaxation, and that gratitude practice. We try to swoop it all into a 1-hour movement class. It may be different when we do the Yoga Nidra, but it still follows a similar format. So what I'm going to do now is stand up, move my chair out of the way. Just know, y'all, I'm going to come back up here to the camera near the end when we do that guided rest and relaxation, that gratitude, and a little bit of movement at the very end. So here we go. Again, welcome. Thank you for coming to class. Thank you for signing up, registering, coming to class. Some of y'all I know come to class or sign up, but you can't come to class, and y'all know that I do a video. I have 2 chairs today, so you don't have to have 2, but it's a little bit more convenient if you do, but you can use a chair and a wall, and that's for like the later portion of our class. Now I'm going to sneak in my chair a little bit. Now I've got my block and strap close by for when we do that strengthening part. So you have the choice of staying seated in the chair, but you make sure you scoot forward a little bit if you do, or standing beside the chair or somewhere else in the room, okay? So we're going to start with our warm-up. So from here, actually, we're going to start with the breath because I said we were going to do that, right? Feet about shoulder width apart, tall posture. If you can, have the shoulders kind of aligned with your hips, so don't be hinging forward or, sloping back. Have a nice tall posture, whatever that means for you. And I invite you to kind of find the belly button and then place a hand a little bit below that belly button and then one hand above. And again, if the breath weirds you out, don't do it, okay? But we're going to start with the breathing. So I invite you to breathe in and expand the belly out. So here we go. Breathe in, belly soften out. And as you exhale, contract that belly button towards your spine. Maybe make a little sound in the back of the throat because you're really trying to make it super long. Here we go. Breathe in, belly out. Fill up the lungs also. The lungs, the belly moves. And then exhale, belly button towards the spine. I don't know if y'all can hear me. And again, breathe in, belly out. I'm making a little shushy noise in the back of the throat. And again, exhale, belly button towards your spine. Now, I invite you to feel your feet into the floor. Just noticing the pressing into the floor. Today I've got my sandals on, but you could do this barefoot or with your tennis shoes on. And again, breathe in, belly big. And exhale, belly button towards your spine. One more breath. I always say that, right? One more breath. Here we go. Breathe in. And exhale. Beautiful. From here, maybe bring the feet a little bit apart. Again, get comfortable in your chair. Get comfortable standing. Again, you can have hands on the chair or however you need if you have some balance challenges today. Again, this is fall prevention yoga, so I'm going to assume there's some balance challenges, okay? From here, let's just kind of bend the knees. And you'll do heel lifts if you're seated and shake the body. So we're moving lymphatic fluid when we do the bending of the knees, the shaking of the body. As you breathe out, you may notice a little bit of a forceful exhale. So I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to breathe in and breathe through the mouth. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Again, one more time. Breathe in. And exhale. Now let's take it side to side. Soft bend in the knees, soft twist. Again, do what you can with what you got. Stay away from the back of the chair if you're doing this seated, more towards the front of the chair. Feet firm into the floor. Now if you can, let's invite this to go skyward. Shake it, shake it, shake it. And then turning to the side. Little detoxing here when we shake the body, kind of get that stuck, blocked energy unblocked. And then bend the elbows, do wrists up. It's great for carpal tunnel. It's going to feel weird though. Very good. Now, keep the bend of the knees. Keep lifting those heels. You can alternate them if you're seated. And let's spin the wrists. Again, we're lubricating those knees, those hip joints with that little bit of movement here. A little bit of air coming across the throat, the face with the spinning wrists. And then let's reverse it. That's a little bit of brain work there. And you might notice it feels different when you reverse. Maybe one hand spins differently. My left hand doesn't spin the same as the right when I do the reverse. And then from here, we're going to cup the hands. I'm going to move a little forward because I'm close to the wall here. And basically, we're bending the knees and swinging the arms, lubricating those shoulder joints. You've got a little bursitis in one shoulder versus the other. You're going to notice it for sure. Don't try to be as vigorous as you can, okay? Again, keep it between easy and ouch. Let's bend the elbows, touch the top of the shoulders. And the bending of the knees is a little different. Now, if you can't keep up bending on the knees, sitting on a chair, that's okay too. Let's do 2 more. And 1. Now, from here, if you got the arms on the chair, just be mindful of what you're doing here, okay? But those of us standing, we're going to alternate arm swings. And this is where you can kind of, if one arm goes higher than the other, you're going to allow it to do that, okay? Keep doing this if you're seated in the chair. If you're standing, instead of forward, we're going to go out side to side. Out to the letter T and across. Bend those knees. This makes you dizzy. Keep your head looking center, okay? You don't have much of a upper body twist when you keep the head to center, and that's okay too. Let's do 1 more. And then make it smaller, smaller, and smaller. You might feel some tingling energy happening here. That's okay. We're going to interlace the fingers and then press the palms away. Again, away from the chair so you can do this next posture. We're going to bring them up towards the sky. And then bring it back here in front of your chest and curve your spine to the back of the room. Bend the knees. So it's like standing cat posture. And then make fists, place them on your hips for your seated or standing back bend. Increases that heart rate a little bit. Let's do that again. Interlace the fingers, push the fingers away, curve the spine. So it's kind of like a little curvy spine here, a little standing cat posture. And then bring it up towards the sky. Really push it towards lengthening away from the pelvis. And then come back here to the center, push it away. And then straighten the legs, tall posture, fists on the hips, or grab the back of the chair for that seated back bend. So flexion and extension of the spine today. And release. From here, it's a step touch. You can hang on to the chair. You can just step touch seated in the chair. If it's available, maybe you can wave an arm or both arms. So lateral movement, very important in building this different type of strength. Proprioception, I can't say that word. Keep breathing. Let's do 1 more. 1 and 0. Very good. Next we'll do it's called a Qigong Detox. It's the big 6 is what we do in our Tai Chi class. So basically find your collarbone and we're going to stroke across above and below the collarbone. So this is lymphatic drainage. You might find a lot of sinus drainage after you do this. You might find that you're dehydrated. So we're getting rid of that stuck muck. Let's go over to the other one. Again, above and below the collarbone. I'm finding my nasal passages are opening up. If you tend to have swelling, edema in the feet, this is great for trying to have that to be less. Next is you take your hands in front and in back of your ear and you stroke down the side of the neck and the side of the head. Again, lymphatic drainage. Opening up that carotid a little bit. So we have cerebral spinal fluid that kind of gets built up and we need to kind of release that. We do that at nighttime when we're sleeping, but we got to clear the pathways to make it happen. So this is one of the ways to clear the pathways. Let's do the other side again, in front of the ear and back of the ear, down the jawline, down the side of the neck. Very good. So first is the collarbone, second is the neck. There is a definite way to do this. Next is the armpit. So you can do like a little right angle with your hand if you like and just kind of push it into your armpit. Make sure that thumb here is at that pectorals, or you can kind of dig for gold or tap the pit. When men and women get breast cancer, this is the areas that they check. Did the cancer go to these lymph node nests? So we're just trying to clear all that out, okay? Notice if it feels tender, if you have a puff instead of a pit for an armpit, okay? Let's go over to the other side. Here we go. Again, you can just kind of softly manipulate or maybe kind of rub in circular movements, but again, be sure to squeeze that thumb, okay? Or maybe you're going to tap or make a little fist and pound softly. Collarbone, neck, armpit. Next one is the stomach. So the stomach area is considered to be, the gut health, considered to be the second brain in traditional Chinese medicine. So I kind of find my ribs here. The diaphragm sits underneath there. So I'm just going to go here in the middle and then push across. Sometimes that diaphragm is like stuck in and up, and maybe you feel like you're not able to get that deep breath, okay? Just do a little bit of manipulation here. And then you can take your open hands or the side of the hands and play a little percussion. There we go. Or you can kind of just jiggle up and down too. I got lots to jiggle, so I'm going to jiggle it. All right, now next we're going to step it out like we do in Tai Chi. It's called horse stance. So step, bring the legs out kind of at an angle here. And where the leg inserts into the torso, the iguanal crease, is called the qua in Tai Chi. We're going to take the side of the hand and chop the qua. So again, when men get prostate cancer, this is the area they check. Did the cancer move to this lymph node nest? Let's just clear out our little waste systems in our body. The only way to move lymphatic fluid is through movement. Our heart circulates our blood. We actually have more lymphatic fluid in our body than we do blood. Very good. Now I'm going to bring my feet in. The next one, it might be easier to do seated, but I'm going to do this standing. Clap your hands. Create some heat here in the palms. And then I'm sticking my booty out, bending my knees. I'm going to tap the sides of my knees to help lessen knee pain. And then I'm going to take those palms, rub on top of my knees, maybe come up on my fingers to stimulate those acupressure points. And then reverse. If we're helping with edema, swelling in the feet, you're going to rub the back of the knees. Those lymph node needs nest in the back of the knees. So you get the bottom of the hamstrings, top of the calves, and that bend in the knee. Plus this thumb is also stimulating the meniscus on the side. So again, it's all good stuff. Very good. Come back up, clap your hands, and then shake your legs. And let's march in place. You can hang on to that chair. March in place, seated on the chair. So now we have to do an assessment of our balance before we do the strengthening work. So I'm going to come over here to the chair. Now if you're seated, scooch away from the back of the chair, okay? And I'm going to turn my feet towards the corner of the chair. Yeah? I'm going to bend both knees. I'm going to take my tailbone, kind of roll it under. So it's kind of flared out. I'm going to roll it under. Very good. I'm going to do hand on the chair. This is called Golden Rooster in our standing Tai Chi class. We're going to bend the elbow up. Same side arm. Your leg's going to lift up. Point your toe down. Maybe it's lower. Maybe it's not. If you're seated, you're doing the same thing. You're lifting the leg. You're bending that arm. Maybe you have to assist it a little bit, depending on what your challenges are. And release. So notice what you noticed on that side. Were you able to lift that leg? Did you feel some stuff going on in the hip? Now, you either go over to the other side of the chair, or if you have another chair, you go over to the other chair, okay? So, again, I'm going to turn my toes towards the corner of the chair, bend my knees, my tailbone's flaring out, so I'm going to tuck it under, okay? And I'm going to bend the elbow up, little right angle here, and then come up either on the toe, or lift that leg up, point the toe down. Maybe release the chair, notice what you notice or don't notice. Maybe it needs to be lower, and release. Woo! Okay, so these sequences are meant for relaxation, flexibility, and for overall well-being. Let's go ahead and do our point and flex. Again, you can do this seated or standing, but bring a foot in front of you and then point your toe, heel flex. This is considered to be the calf pumping, the second heart, returning blood flow to the heart. It's also known as a blood glucose lowering technique for after dinner. You can't dash out and do that 10-minute walk. Calf pump, okay? University of Houston clinical study found this out here last year. And then bring that down. Let's do the other one. point and flex. Notice if you hear any little snap, crackle, pops happening here. Again, articulation of that ankle joint, very beneficial to have better walking. Notice if it feels stiff, one side versus the other. So this class is all about noticing, okay? If you haven't noticed stuff before, I'm going to ask you to observe, okay? 2 more, 2 and 1. Let's go back to the original side. Now you can have your foot, the ball of the foot be on the floor and do ankle circles, but I like to do foot in the air. We're going to draw the circle inward first. So ankle circle, try to do just from the ankle down. Some folks have to do the entire leg because maybe they don't have this to where they're able to isolate the ankle roll. And again, notice what you notice. Snap, crackle, pops, maybe some little strange feelings going on here. Ooh, I can feel it on this one. And then reverse. Notice if your reverse tends to do a different shape or it feels different. Again, notice what you notice. Not that something's wrong or incorrect. It's just, ooh, my body's doing this or that. Maybe you were in some steel-toe shoes or pinchy toes or combat boots that kind of made your feet kind of cramp together. Again, that tends to help us or not help us walk better, all right? And release. We're going to do the other side again, lift the leg or ball of the foot on the floor, but we're going to draw it inward. So draw it inward. And this one I do more like rectangles than I do a circular shape. So that's something I notice. This is the one I had a big old sprain on when I was in my 30s, So this is my stiff foot. Right there on the outside of the ankle. You may notice your shins starting to talk like, ooh, I'm getting tired. And the reverse. Go the other way. Ooh, notice that does it feel a little different when you go that other way? Sometimes, yeah. Couple more. And release. Yay, that's over. But guess what? We got more. I'm going to move my one chair out of the way, but I'm going to get my block and my strap ready. So this class, just kind of know that if you're coming to this class on a regular basis, we use the buckle on our yoga strap for our strength building. Now, if you don't have one that has a buckle, you can also do it like a bow tie or a shoelace tie. But I'm going to go ahead and engage the buckle. Engage the buckle. That sounds official. I'm going to engage the buckle. Okay, I know I'm not funny, but I just, think some of the things I say are really kind of silly. So I bring it into the loop that's closest to the strap, and then I kind of do that over thing. I'm not good at describing this, okay? And some of y'all have TheraBands, and that works too. So I've got this big old loop. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I'm going to place it here at my thighs. So I'm going to step into it. Okay, and that's pretty wide. I got to make it a little bit, I got to cinch up on it, okay? And I try to do about 2 fists distances, or maybe, the width of the skinniest part of a block. And I make sure that buckle's not on my leg. So again, this may seem common sense, y'all, but when I first started working with props, it was like, I don't know about this. I'm going to scoot back a little bit so I can have this in the camera. So y'all can see that. Okay, very good. Okay. So what we'll do first, once we kind of get it here, if you're doing the shoelace tie, hopefully y'all got that right. So everybody ready? I'm looking for thumbs up. I got thumbs up. Y'all ready? Okay. Some of y'all ready. I'm gonna go ahead. So again, we're away from the back of the chair here, all right? Our buttons are near the front of the chair, but we still got lots of bun on the chair. And then I invite you to press the feet down. So you're gonna feel contraction of the top of the legs, maybe the booty, the knees, the calves, feet into the floor. So the feet into the floor, stimulating those reflexology points. So that's good stuff too, right? So, and then when you're pressing down into the floor, of course, you're pressing to the outside of the strap, causing muscular contraction going on here. A little bone building if we hold the posture, not the breath. So we're going to add on to this and relax everything. Okay, very good. So we're going to take one of our legs, we're going to heel toe it in and try to do the bottom of the foot into the side of the other foot. I hope that makes sense. So your leg is kind of going out at an angle here. If you've got a TheraBand, you've got a little give. And that's okay too. But this is a little bit more for strength building, folks. So we're going to press down into the leg that didn't do the heel toe, so the stable leg, maybe the hand on the leg to kind of encourage pressing into the floor. Very good. And then the leg that we've kind of took out to an angle, we're pressing it towards the floor. So we're getting this muscular contraction going on in that lower body. Y'all feel it? No? Y'all don't feel it? Okay. Y'all hear me? Y'all are going, oh my gosh. Okay, are y'all? Now, if you want to do more, take your hand to the inner thigh, press it a little bit more. If you don't have a strap today, hang on to the stable leg, maybe press on the outside and press into it, and then push that other one away. So again, if you don't have the gear, you can kind of do a little bit of stuff with the hands and release. Woo! Okay, bring it back in. You know what? Stomp the feet. Very good. And then we're going to press into the floor. I scooted my booty back when I pressed into the floor. Just kind of slid, yeah? And again, we're activating that lower body. From here, let's do the other side. Relax everything. We're going to heel toe the foot, other foot in. So I'm kind of turned on the side of the foot. The leg that's stable, I'm pressing firmly into the floor, so I feel it in the shin, the knee, the top of the leg, the back of the leg, maybe a little side booty, yeah? And this other leg, I'm going to squeeze both buns too. Let's squeeze both buns. And then think about pushing the leg out towards the floor. Now you can press to the inside. You can press on the other hand, on the other leg to keep it stable. Tall posture, if you can. Kind of feel it in your hip bones. Yeah. So again, oftentimes our functionality gets lost because we're sitting more. We're at the computer. We're doing crafts. We're not upright and walking. We tend to lose our behind. So we need to have a big behind to support being independent. So we're doing independence yoga today, okay? I don't want to go to that rest home. I want to be independent. I want to be able to lift off and lower to the toilet without plunking. I want to be able to go up and down stairs. I want to be able to walk, okay? And release. Woo! All right, bring it back to the center. Stomp those feet again. Very good. Now, let's grab the yoga block or the ball. Now, if you don't have the yoga block or ball, you could do two fists, but maybe not. We're going to take the strap out. So basically what we were just doing is variations of clam pose. It's a Pilates yoga movement for strengthening the hip flexors, the abductors when you press outward. It's typically done lying on your side body, but you can do seated versions too. That's what I love about it. Take your yoga block, place it in between. Now you're going to heel toe your feet into where you feel a consistent activation of the inner thighs. And you may feel it here on the outside too. Think about tall posture. Now I have a little bit of my yoga block, coming up. I'm going to bring a little bit more up. Okay. So those of you that have been to class know what's coming up. So the objective is not to let your block move. Now press into the floor. Woo! Y'all feel a little bit extra there? Probably. You're going to take your hands and play the drums. Here we go. Don't let that block move. Squeeze. Come on. Squeeze. Vibrational energy, contraction of those muscles. Very good for building up that strength. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Did it move? I hope not. Bring it out. Beautiful. Clap those hands. All right. And again, let's put a little heat onto the knees. Ooh, that feels nice. And reverse. And then get the underneath once again. So we're going to do the 6 essential spinal movements. We've already done spinal movement, cat-cow, extension and flexion, but we'll do that again. So we'll sit up here nice and tall. And again, we're away from the back of the chair here. And let's breathe in, let the belly expand. And as we exhale, contract that belly button. And then let's hinge forward from the hips to the top of the head, hinge forward. So I try not to drop my chin towards my chest or my chin skyward because that's a little too much excessive cervical spine curvature if you have back challenges. And I teach that back yoga, so that's why I always mention this. And then let the belly be soft. Breathe in. Contract the belly button, come back up to tall seated mountain. Now here's where it might get spicy because you're sitting on your pelvic bones, right? When we do the cat version. So usually going into cat is okay, but coming out of the cat might be spicy. So again, breathe in, belly big. Now contract that belly button, low core, upper core, mid core, and curve your spine to the back of the room. So there's that little pelvic tuck and under tilt going on here. Stay here, belly soft, breathe in. Now belly button tight, slowly come out of that pelvic tilt to a tall seated posture. Take it slow. Sometimes I have a spicy side, so it kind of grabs me sometimes. So if I go slower, it's a lot easier to manage. Let's do that again. First, we're going to breathe in, belly big, elbows out, hinge forward like forward fold, but also known as cow posture. Beautiful. Stay here, breathe in, belly soft. Exhale, contract that belly button. Come back up to tall seated mountain, shoulders over the hips. Let's breathe again, belly big. Now curve to the back of the room, curve that spine. Woo, hang on to those knees. You feel the muscles kind of peeling away from this spine. Stay here, breathe in, belly big. Contract that belly button, come slowly up into tall seated mountain. Beautiful. All right, next we're going to do unsupported twists. So supported twists are things that where we take an arm over to an opposite leg and crank into a twist. Again, I teach back yoga, so we do unsupported twists. In other words, we let the thoracic spine, kind of from your collarbone down below your belly, to move and not force a move. So we're going to do letter W arms to where we squeeze the upper back musculature. So building upper back strength also helps with the walking back and forth with the opposite arms and legs, by the way. So again, it contributes to fall prevention yoga. So here we go. Squeeze those shoulders. Beautiful. From the collarbone to the pubic bone, we're going to turn as a unit. Keep the chin aligned with the chest. So here we go. Breathe in first. Belly button tight. Exhale, turn to one side. Do what you can, but don't force it, okay? Stay, and I lose the outside shoulder, so I re-squeeze it. Breathe in, stay here. Belly button tight. Exhale, back to the center. And release the shoulders and arms down. Let's do the shoulder shuffle here. Again, opportunities for lymphatic flow, range of motion in that shoulder girdle, and kind of ease that tension out of holding the upper back strength musculature. Let's do that again. Go back to that letter W, squeeze the shoulders. Can you feel it? I think you can. And we're going to breathe in, belly big. Now we're going to turn over to the other side, belly button tight. Here we go. Turn as a unit. You may turn more, you may turn less. Notice what you notice, okay? Stay here. Breathe in. Squeeze those shoulders. Belly button tight. Exhale back to the center. And release. So those were spinal movements 3 and 4, twisting side to side. Next is side lateral movement. So let's inhale. Circle, sweep arms up. And you can bring a hand down, maybe stick it back behind you on your wrist or your fist, but I kind of bring it back behind me and I squeeze that armpit shoulder. And then maybe I bring my feet a little wider. There you go. And then I'm going to inhale, reach up, tall. And then exhale, belly button tight. I'm bending that back elbow to add a little movement. I'm keeping both buns on the chair. So stretching from that armpit to the hip pit. Woo! Inhale back on up. Exhale down. Now yours may look different. I've got a pacemaker on one side, so my range of motion is not the same. Let's do that again. Other side though, but first, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Beautiful. Sneak that hand back behind you as you exhale. Get that good squeeze going on, and then wiggle those fingers. Inhale, reach for the sky. Belly button tight. Exhale, bend that back elbow if you want to go stretching a little bit more. Kind of stretching from that hip to the armpit. And then bring it back on up and down. So those were spinal movements 5 and 6. Another strength building movement that we do seated in the chair is Warrior 1. We will also do a standing Warrior 1 in just a moment for soothing that sciatic nerve, but you have to wait for that. We're going to turn sideways on our chair. Now, if you got one of the chairs that have the arms, you may have to kind of do this at an angle, okay? Or maybe you bring the leg back behind you, but I'm going to show it sideways. So here we go. Some of us have shorter legs than the chair that we're sitting on, so we're not able to do that right angle at the knees. So it might mean feet on the yoga block. Just kind of know that, okay? And I'm going to bring my bun off a little bit. From here, I'm trying to line the shoulder up with my shoulder. Now, I tend to lean forward. I know that about me, so just kind of know what you know about you, all right? So we're going to take the leg that's coming off the chair. Here we go. Bringing it off. I'm bringing it here in the front of the chair and then scooping it back. And again, look, here I'm leaning forward, right? And then I realign myself. So when I do the shoulder over the hip, there's a little back bend, little heart rate kicking up. I'm going to take this forward foot, kind of scooch it forward a little bit so I got that nice little right angle going on as best as I can. Then I'm going to press into that forward leg, press into those back toes, and maybe readjust my behind on the chair. There, that feels better. Squeeze both buns. You're going to feel it here in that hip flexor. If you want more, take your side booty, shift it forward just a little bit. Woo! Whatever leg you have stepped back, that arm can go up. You can hang on to your chair or both arms, but I usually hang on to my chair. Press into that forward leg, press into those back toes, squeeze the booty, shift the hip forward if you want to. Don't forget to breathe. So now we're kind of getting the front of the leg, also a little bit of the behind, the calf, the shin, and a little back bend. And release. Yay. I'm going to grab my pant. Woo, bring it next to the other one. And then we're going to shimmy over to the other side or swivel. Well, however you need to move over to the other. We got to do the other side. Yeah? Okay. Again, bun comes off if you can. Some of it, most of it. Bring your leg back. Again, I'm kind of getting adjusted here on the chair. Woo, already feeling it on this side. When I sit up tall, it's like, man, feel that contraction going on, yeah? Now, I'm going to press into the forward leg. I'm going to squeeze both buns. Ooh, that's kind of grabby. Maybe I squeeze less. And I'm going to take my behind, shift it forward like a half a centimeter. Woo! Press into those curly toes, tops of the feet. Arm goes up if it's available. Again, there's a back bend element here. The heart rate kicks up. Woo! Press into that forward leg. Press back to back toes. Squeeze buns. Shift hip forward. And release. Yay. It's over. Shake those legs. Stomp those feet. Shake those legs again. You know what? We're going to do our hip oilers here before we stand up. So it's basically sumo stomp. So you can have fingertips underneath your knee. Bring the knee up and out to the side and bring it back. Do the other side. Knee up, out to the side, bring it back. Now, do it without the hands. See what your strength is allowing you to do. Ooh, kind of spicy. This is your getting in and out of the car movement. Notice if one side is a little bit catchy or more spicy than the other. Now, if you want to add that vibrational stomp, please do. When I teach this class, my kid says, Mom, I can hear you upstairs when you're stomping. Again, oiling that hip joint. Let's do one more each side. Here comes one. Let's do the other one. Very good. Very good. Shake those legs, stomp those feet. We're going to come up to standing next. So come up to standing. You won't need your gear, so I'm going to toss my gear to the side. And I'm going to move this chair out of the way to the side a little bit. And then I'm going to turn the other chair sideways so you can see what's kind of going on in this next set of postures. So these are good for bursitis, good for soothing the sciatica. So let's do this. Can you see me in the camera? Yeah, you can. I'm going to shift the chair forward a little bit. Okay, so I'm standing with my hips near the back of the chair. And the leg that's closest to me, or you pick your left or your right, I don't care, whichever one, right? That's going to be your first side. Step a leg back. And I'm going to take the other foot, kind of hop it towards the back of the chair. Then I'm going to bend the knee closest to the chair. Now, if this feels awkward right here, you might, because sometimes it's like one leg in front of the other, you may want to take that front leg and heel toe it out to where you have a little distance between, apart between the front foot and the forward foot. So I'm going to bend the knee towards the back of the chair. And again, I'm trying to think, shoulder over the hip, okay? If it's available, same side leg that's stepped back, use that same side arm up. Maybe you do the other arm up. So this is a variation of warrior one posture. Also a variation of crescent lunge, kind of. So again, firm foot into the floor, contracting the quadricep, a little bit of the gluteus maximus minimus, some of our piriformis iliopsoas muscles engaged in this posture. Bring the hand down, take that back foot, step it forward, and we're going to switch sides. Again, maybe there's a little width between the feet, and then step the other foot back a little distance. And again, I'm going to hop the other foot a little bit closer to the chair, back of the chair. Bend the knees towards the back of the chair. And again, I tend to lean forward, so try to think about, okay, shoulder over the hip, okay? Very good. Same side arm goes up as the leg that stepped back. Maybe you can do both, maybe not. Notice what you notice. One side versus the other. Woo! Don't forget to breathe. And bring the hand down, step the foot forward. Very good. So there's 3 sequences to this particular sciatica soother. So we're going to step the foot back again, the original, and then some more, and then some more. Okay, and the other foot's pretty close to the chair as best you can. And we're going to bend the knee towards the back of the chair. And again, I'm trying to line up the shoulder over that hip. Press that back heel firmly into the floor. Bend that knee. Arm goes up. Again, this is a back bender. When we bring the arms up in the air, bringing a foot back, a leg forward. Warrior One is a cardiac type of yoga posture. Very heart beating posture. And bring the hand down. Bring the leg to the back of the chair. Drag it, step it, hop it up there. Let's do the other side. So step the other foot back. And you know what? Step it back some more. And you know what? Step it back some more. Do what you can, okay? And then you're going to bend the knee forward. Ooh, this one's spicy for me. Again, shoulder over the hip. Think about that. Same side arm goes up as the leg that has stepped back. Maybe the other hand goes up too. Maybe not. Again, hand press. Grab that chair. Press that back heel into the floor. So again, if you've got that sciatica, we're trying to get that nerve unpinchy here, wherever it's pinched up through the body. Bring the hand down, bring that back heel up, hop, walk, step into the back of the chair. Now, we're going to go back to the original stepped back position that we started with. So take that first side, step it back. Again, it's not too far this time. And then here's the variation. So we're going to take the back heel, lift it so you're on the ball of the foot, okay? And then I'm going to walk the other foot a little bit closer. We're trying to keep the front leg a little bit straight here. And then we're going to take that behind, roll it under, okay? Then same side arm goes up. There might be some shaking going on here. So again, we're kind of isolating some of these muscles, working those. If you're shaking, that means you're working. If you're not shaking, that still means you're working. Woo! And if you can, release the other hand. If you can't, hang on. And bring that hand down. Take that back foot, step it forward. Let's do the other side. So here we go. Step the foot back. Again, you're going to lift up on that back heel, and you're going to take your behind, tuck it under. Very good. If you can, same side arm goes up as the leg that you stepped back. Maybe you can do both arms up, maybe not. That's why I'm glad the wall's here. I can hang onto the wall if I need to. Woo! Do you feel the shaking? Do you feel contraction? Doing a lot of bone building here too when we hold the posture, not the breath, but hold the posture. 30 seconds to stimulate your bones with contracted muscle groups. And lower the arm. Bring that back leg forward. Very good. All right, next is our leg swinging. So I'm going to bring the chair to face you now, and I'm making sure I have space here. And again, woo, notice your heart rate. Let's see, mine's 122. So just by, kind of coming up on the ball of the foot and rolling that tailbone in and kind of bending both knees or whatever, that contracts those big muscle groups in our body, strengthening our lower body. From here, I'm standing back behind the chair, and see if you can all see that, yeah. I'm going to simply take a leg out and in. I'm hanging onto the chair when I do this. So I'm going to step away so I don't hit the chair, okay? Again, do what you can, and notice what you notice, all right? So here we go. Maybe your hands need to be wider on the chair. That's what I found out. If I had them at the center, I kind of wiggled it a little bit. That's what I noticed. Woo! And again, if you have scoliosis like I do, you may notice one side's more tightly held than the other. Your range of motion may be different. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, I feel my back popping, and 1. Very good. Kind of bend those knees, kind of walk in place here just to kind of let go of that muscle memory. And we're going to do the other side. So here we go. Get ready. We're going to take the leg out and back to the ankles. Here we go. Maybe hands wider. Okay? Here we go. Ooh. This one's more spicy. It's okay. It's not like hospital spice or anything like that, but I definitely noticed it. Simple leg sweeps to the side. So as strengthening. 2 more. 2 and 1. Bring it in. Walk in place. All right, this next one has a little variation here. So what we're going to do is have the heel be out, toes point in. And not only are we going to bring it out to the side, but we cross the body. Again, you're doing what you can today, okay? You got hip replacements, you're not supposed to cross the body, then don't cross the body, okay? So here we go. Heel out, toe in. Bring it out and across. Maybe you are allowed to cross the midline with a hip replacement, guys. I guess it depends what type of hip replacement. Let's do 3 more. If you can. 3, 2, woo, and 1. Bring it in. Bend those knees a little bit. Walk in place just a little bit, okay? Notice your heart rate. Mine's 135. Now who would have known just doing these leg sweeps would it increase your heart rate? Well, I knew. Let's do the other side. Heel out, toe in. So there's a little cardiac element to this yoga class. So bring it out and across. Again, heels out, toes in. Let's do 3 more. 3, woo, 2, and 1. Very good. Walk in place. So this one's a little complicated. It's going to be where we have the toe out, and when we cross the center, it's toe in. So we're moving the foot as we bring it across. Again, another opportunity to kind of oil that hip joint. So again, I'm going to get away from the back of the wall here and make sure there's lots of space. So I'm going to start with heel out, leg out. No, that's wrong. It's toe out. Sorry about that. So I'm pointing my toe out. So here we go. Toe out, toe in. Woo. Toe out, toe in. Out, toe in, toe out, toe in. 1 more. Toe out, toe in. Woo! Walk in place. Very good. Very nice. Let's do the other side. Again, it's toe out, come across, toe in. Let's see if I can remember. Here we go. Toe out, toe in. Toe out, toe in. Again, toe out, toe in. 3 more. If you can. Toe out, toe in. 2 more. Toe out, toe in. Only 1 more. Toe out, toe in. Walk in place. Hello, booty. Again, ball, socket, hip joint, that heel out, toe in, swinging. That's good. Now, I'm going to bring my chair over to the side. This is another one for balancing and strength building. It's one of our chair Tai Chi movements, or our Tai Chi movements. It's called the 3-point stepping drill. So it incorporates what is called the empty step. What I mean by that is when we bring the leg forward, we're on the heel, toe up, we're not putting hardly any weight in the forward leg. So we're doing all this strength building in the leg that's closest to the chair. So to start out with, where I'm turned a little bit kind of towards the side of the chair here, and hike up my pants, bend my knees, take that behind, roll it in, okay? Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to do a demo first. Everybody do this with me. We're going to do leg straight, and you lay the back of the heel down on the floor, and then you bring it into your ankle. Then as if there was a pencil on the bottom of your heel, draw it straight out, toe up, heel down, back to the ankle. And then point your toe back behind you, straight leg if you can. Woo, feel that booty. Back to the ankle. And then come out, ease out of that. Walk a little bit. Now I'm going to try to do this 2 times in a row. So bend the knees, roll that tailbone under, so you're sunk down into the leg closer to the chair. Don't raise up. Keep it down low, okay? So here we go. Heel forward, toe up, back to the ankle. Don't raise up. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Point it back behind you, point it back behind you, back to the ankle. Stay here. Heel down, toe up, come forward with that leg, back to the ankle, out to the side, back to the ankle, back behind you, back to the ankle. Stand up, take this leg closest to the chair, swing that tension that built up out of that hip. Again, balancing, strengthening movements. Now you can go over to the other chair or go over to the other side of the chair. I'm making sure I'm in the camera here. We're going to do that 3-point step drill Tai Chi movement on the other side. So bend the knees. I'm kind of turned towards that chair. Roll that tailbone under. So your booty's flared out. Tuck it under. Very good. Belly button tight. Stay low on the leg closest to the chair. Leg goes forward, heel down, toe up. You got it. Back to the ankle. Straight out to the side. Back to the ankle. Go back behind you. Woo. Back to the ankle and release. So we're working in that perception space. Forward, to the side, back behind us. We're engaging the entire 360, so to speak, in our legs. Let's do that again, this time 2 times in a row. If you can, try it if you can. Do what you can with what you got. Bend those knees, take that tailbone, tuck it under. Very good. Belly button tight. Now stay low in the leg closest to the chair. Here we go. Heel down, toe up. Excellent. Back to the ankle. Out to the side. It might be wobbly. Back to the ankle. Back behind you. Woo! Back to the ankle. Stay low. Here we go again. Heel down, toe up. Woo! Back to the ankle. Out to the side. Back to the ankle. Back behind you. Back to the ankle. And come out of the posture. Swing that leg that's closest to the chair. The one that you work. Ooh, 137, 138. So it's surprising how much your heart is being used, how much your muscles are being contracted in these simple movements. Maybe they're not so simple, yeah? Okay, beautiful. Next is you face the chairs back to back or back to the wall because we're going to be doing our forwards and backwards walking. So you use different muscles when you walk backwards. You're engaging that prefrontal cortex, so it's a little bit more of helping the brain, helping the dementia prevention. So basically, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Now, permission to look at feet. Look to see, are they kind of turned out to the side? Are they inward? Notice what you notice. Then the forward foot, take it back behind you, head forward, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Okay, now let's switch the feet. I'm going to bring the other foot forward. Now I'm going to take the foot furthest back, go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. And then I'm going to go toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. So your homework assignment is to practice this going down like a hallway, or maybe you have a kitchen counter. Try not to look. I'm going to switch my feet again. At your feet when you're doing this, but maybe look at them when you stop to see how they're positioned. So if you tend to have feet that turn out, that could be an indication of tight hip flexors or tight hamstrings, quadriceps, maybe something you want to check out with a physical therapist or a trainer. Yeah? And then I'm going to switch them again one more time. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Very good. Here comes our next homework assignment. It's called sit to stand. Now I have carpet, but you would put this up against the wall and have another chair in front of you. Because, do you know how to do? So notice, so when you come to sit down, how do you sit down? Do you put a hand down and lay, come down, or do you use your muscular strength to come down? I use the hand. That's what I notice, okay? So I'm going to move the chair forward a little bit. So when I was in that breast cancer study, one of the things I did was this sit to stand movement sequence to find out if you were a fall risk. If you could not do 10 to 12 to 14 in 30 seconds, you were considered a fall risk. So I had a 30% chance of falling if I was able to do 10 to 14. If I was only able to do half of that, there was like a 50% chance I was going to fall in the near future. So the way to build that strength up is to do sit to stand. So the test is cross the hands on the shoulders, feet on the floor, and stand up. Or can you? Do you grunt? Do you squeeze? Do you wobble? And the way to practice this is to have the hands on the chair to practice this until you can do this without the hands. I was grabbing my chair there. So you all keep on going. I'm going to bring one of my chairs to the back here up against the wall. So this is how I do this if I was practicing in this on a wood floor or linoleum. Again, am I grunting? Am I having to like hike my arms up? Don't hike it. That's cheating. Heart rate's going to go up here too. All right, you all do one more, and I'm going to come up to the front of the room. One more if you can, one more. All right, and then come settle in your chair. Is your heart rate up yet? It probably is. Yeah. So I invite you now to get comfortable. So whatever that means. Maybe you want to get on the couch or comfy in your chair, or maybe laying on your back. I don't know. I'm going to scoot back into my chair, my feet wide. I'm going to rest my hands in my lap. Notice your heart rate. Mine's at 135 right now. Ooh, 139. Sorry. Update. So from here, you can keep your eyes open or closed. We're going to do non-sleep deep rest meditation right now. And I invite you, again, to get comfortable. That might mean moving a little bit, maybe moving some clothes, or, you can have your eyes gazing at the floor closed or softly gazing. And let's breathe in. We're going to expand the belly and the chest. So breathe in, belly, chest big. And then slowly exhale. We're going to do what's called the extended or elongated breath. It's to help go into the parasympathetic mode, to calm down the vagus nerve, to lessen stress. So what I do is I clap my hands 4 times as we breathe in, we pause, and then we slowly exhale to a count of 5. Again, do what you can. Just listen to my voice. Just follow what I say. And here we go. Breathing in. And then slowly breathing out. Again, inhaling, big O breath, belly and chest expand. And then slowly, slowly out. Again, slow breath in. Slowly, slowly out. One more time. Breathing in. Slowly out. Now just do your normal breath here. So that elongated breath helps to reduce the blood pressure, lower your heart rate. It's already starting to do that for me. And all you have to do now is just listen to my voice. So I invite you to bring all of your awareness, all of your attention to your feet, to both feet. So you can close your eyes or just, gaze down at the floor and just, visualize or imagine your feet, okay? Good. Notice the arches of both the feet, the heels of the feet. Notice those big toes, and notice the pinky toes. Together, let's take a slow inhale breath and a slow exhale breath. Good. Let's shift that attention, bring that awareness now into the shins, into the calves. So noticing both the front lower leg and the back of the lower leg, those shins, the calves. Good. Let's notice the knee joints, bringing your awareness to the front of the knees and the back of the knees. Let's shift our attention, our awareness to the upper legs. Let's notice the thighs, the quadriceps, and the back of the legs, the hamstrings. Good. Let's breathe in and out. From here, notice those hip joints. Just notice what you notice. Let's notice the hips, the behind, so both the front and the back side of the body. Good. And let's notice our low belly, the pelvic floor, the low back. Bring awareness into those areas. And now let's shift that awareness, that attention to our belly, our low back, just above, right there at the top of the buttocks. Good. And now shifting our attention to our chest, to our heart, and at the bottom of our shoulders, in the back side of our body, the mid-back. Again, noticing both the front and the back side of the body, in the center section of our spine. Good. Let's take a big breath in here and slowly out. From here, shifting our attention from the center of our body to the tops, to the shoulders, both in the front and the back side of the body. And then noticing the upper arms on both sides of the body. Shifting our attention now to the elbows, to the front of the elbows, to the back of the elbows. Noticing our lower part of our arms, the forearms. Let's move that attention to the wrists, both wrists. The back of the hands, the palms. Notice both the top and the bottom of the hands. And again, shifting the attention now to both thumbs, index fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, and lastly, those pinky fingers. Good. Again, breathe in, breathing out. From the hands, let's shift our attention here to the front of our throat and the back of the neck, the base of the throat and the back of the neck. Shifting that attention, that awareness to our jawline, our chin, to the lower and the upper lip. Noticing the nose, the forehead, and then the crown of the head, the very top of the head. Now from the crown of the head, notice all the way at the top of the head, the crown of the head, all the way down to the tips of the toes. Notice the whole body together. From the toes all the way back up to the crown, and from the crown all the way back down to the tips of the toes. Good. As you're breathing here, let's imagine that there's healing light coming in through the crown of the head, and that it's bathing our entire body with that warm, healing light down to the cellular level. Good. And now, I invite you to come back into the now, back into the present moment. So let's wiggle those fingers a little bit, kind of move those feet, those toes. And if you were kind of back here in your chair, scoot a little forward on your chair now. Come away from the back so you engage those tall posture muscles. Let's bring those feet, those legs a little bit apart here. We'll do a little bit of movement before we do our gratitude practice. So hands on the legs, and let's draw upper body circles. Now be sweet, be kind. Notice what you notice here. Might be spicy someplace. You may want to go back and forth in a spicy area. You know, kind of iron it out, so to speak. And then let's reverse that. Let's go the other direction. Nice and slow. Very good. Then we are going to do a supported twist. We're going to take it easy though, okay? So come back up to the center, the heart center in our seated mountain. Then we're going to hinge forward a little bit, and let's take a opposite shoulder and then kind of draw it towards that opposite knee. Maybe the hands on the legs. So just kind of doing a little bit of a levered twist. Now keep it away from ouch though, okay? And then release from that, come back to the center, and then let's hinge forward again. And let's take that opposite shoulder towards that opposite knee. Again, getting a little supported twist going on here. We're not trying to force something here though, but maybe you kind of feel that elongation, that lengthening movement, and then come back to the center. Very good. So for our gratitude practice, let's think about one thing that we're grateful for. It could be an idea of gratitude. It could be something that you're actually grateful for. And you can bring your hands together, or maybe hands stacked, place them at your heart center. And in fact, let's drop our chin down towards our chest in gratitude of just showing up today. Doing self-help, self-care with practicing with us here on Veterans Yoga Project. Very good. And whatever you're grateful for, grab it, clasp it, place it into that heart space. Beautiful. You can keep your chin towards your chest, but you know what? I invite you to kind of lift that chin, maybe eyes opened or closed, and we'll say our traditional sayings to end the class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, and the understanding, that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors and respects the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of chair yoga for fall prevention. Let me stop the recording.